Smart 24, driving business.
Your journey to investment should quickly start off now with Zabo, as the markets are already open. Now start 292 hash and follow the prompts with Zabo. The MTN subscribers is the USSD code that you can definitely use to start your investment journey. Now the investment with Zabo is as swiftly as that, because with a minimum of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you will be able to invest in bonds and securities, and that is something that you can start with this particular Friday morning. And of course, with 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you will be able to invest in the government bonds. And also do remember that the markets open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. These markets are only closed during weekends and public holidays. Zabo, my money, my future. Altec East Africa says do something new. And with sports business this morning, we start with the local perspective, as government in Uganda has table a bill to improve sports administration. The Ministry of Education and Sports introduced the Physical Activity and Sports Bill 2022. The bill was presented by the State Minister for Sports, Honorable Peter Ogwang, at a sitting earlier on this week. The bill provides for the existence of the National Council of Sports, membership of the council, and its different finances. It provides for the organization of sports at national and international levels and establishes the national recognition and reward scheme, if you are to look at that. It also outlines the eligibility of registration as sports federation and also their memberships. The Deputy Speaker, Thomas Taeva, referred the bill to the Committee of Education and Sports for scrutiny. And the Deputy Speaker also tasked the committee to harmonize provisions in the bill, which was presented by Honorable Moses Magogo a year ago on 1st December 2021. Now, Moses Magogo was granted the leave of the House to introduce a private member's bill entitled the National Sports Bill. And this particular one, the object of the bill is to regulate the operation and administration of the national sports associations, federations, and community sports clubs. And Mr. Moses Magogo told the August House at the time that the bill proposed the creation of a sports fund to provide sustainable means of supporting sports within Uganda. So the bill is to improve sports administration as well as managing physical activity and the other ideas attached to Uganda's sports. It provides apparently for the organization of sports at national and international levels, and establishes the national recognition and reward scheme that is with the sports bill. This particular one now, the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Taeva, referred the bill to the Committee on Education and Sports for scrutiny. That is the Physical Activity and Sports Bill 2022. And of course, for those who are engaging in sports activities in Uganda will clearly know how important this bill will be, as it will settle quite a number of grievances and issues across the entire country. Well, besides that, we head to the international scene as Amazon retains Champions League rights in Germany. This is regarding to the media rights. Now, Amazon retaining the Champions League rights package in Germany will quickly start off with the 2024-2025 season up to the 2026-2027 season for a 3-year tenure. Now, Amazon retained its package to broadcast UEFA Champions League in Germany, and it will continue to be able to offer a fast pick Tuesday evening match still under that same package for all those people in Germany. Now, having picked up the A1 package for the current 3-year cycle in its major football play in the German market, the online retail giant has succeeded in securing the fights for another 3 seasons in Germany. So the residents in Germany will be able to access at least Champions League football on Amazon for the next 4 years as of now, because the next 3 will start with the 2024-2025 season till the 2026 to 2027 season, and Amazon still having those bragging rights to sponsor more Champions League football in Germany, especially when it comes to broadcast coverage and all of that. And that's it for the sports business. Just a quick one. The World Cup does return this particular evening with more of the action in the quarterfinals that will be played today. On the matches to look out for will be Croatia up against Brazil, who are highly favorites for this World Cup. Then the other favorites in Argentina will be taking on a 2010 finalist, Netherlands. Remember, Argentina are also finalists in 2014. Who of the two will be making it to the last 4 as the World Cup returns with the quarterfinals this particular evening? And then the other matches to be played will be tomorrow, Saturday, where we shall be definitely seeing Morocco up against Portugal, and France will be entertaining England. Then the semi-finals will be starting Tuesday next week after the quarterfinals have been played this weekend. That and more will be coming up on our Monday updates in sports business. Well, besides that, it's 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Now we'll cross over to Barija Andrew to give us the latest from the world of entertainment. Check out what is making headlines from there in the world of business. Good morning, Andrew. How is the weather treating you?
Weather, it's fair. It's quite fair. You know, I like cold weather, by the way. It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
That cold experience, and very, very moist and fresh air. Right now, regarding the business and entertainment this morning, I'm going to review just a brief highlight of what we should expect this morning. Right there, we shall be looking at Rihanna's perfume brand, of course, launching in Kenya tomorrow, but it will be there for a limited time. And then we shall come down to look at the Oscars revenues increasing. Of course, according to the recent report, it shows that the revenues that were collected during the Oscars that transpired in March was increasing. Then we shall come to the end. We shall wind up the business and entertainment as we look into the recession, the predicted recession, and of course posing a fear towards the streaming business, that's towards the movie makers in Hollywood. Let me say that. Now we officially start the business and entertainment, and of course we start with Fenty, the brand of Rihanna's perfume, of course, which is coming to Kenya. Today is 9th and it's tomorrow, and it will premiere. It will be launched for a limited time. That's between 10th and that's 27th of December. So it's a very amazing brand, and of course it's not the first time the artist is launching a mega brand in East African country, that is Kenya, and it will be going for just 22,000. Actually, not just 22,000. That's quite unremarkable. 22,000 Kenyan shillings for somebody to acquire that brand, and well, we hope it's really worth that money that it's really being tagged onto, because we normally see, actually, there was somebody that was saying that probably some of these, can I say, brands of the celebrities are so overrated. And of course, regarding in terms of quality, simply because somebody made a brand, so you get to realize that it's really priced at a very, very, very high rate. And of course, when I review a report here, it says that this marks the product's first in-store retail experience. That's after launching exclusively on FentyBeauty.com. That was in 2021. And of course, we see that the perfume is deeply intimate fragrance that's complex, vibrant, and of course spicy, quite so many other stuff that are into it. And of course, the scent is inspired by distinct memories and places that Rihanna cherishes from the thought of her life. Can you imagine? That's quite a very creative aspect of business, based on her lifestyle. Now, the fact that she has built a brand into the music career, and if they tell you that the scent is inspired by the experiences she's gone through, the places she's gone through, so you get to understand really the Rihanna you've been watching in the videos, and you try to really find out how does she experience her life, and now she's doing all that, putting it into the perfume brand. And that is something that you should learn as an entertainer right there. This is a creative way you can really make business. Imagine somebody tells you that the scent was inspired by my experiences, and probably, like the world terms it, that we think these people actually have the best experiences. Yes, that's what we think, and that's what we have in our minds. So that alone is enough to be very captivating to a consumer, and they're going to be inspired to come and buy that brand. And definitely money you will be making quite some lots of money from that particular aspect. And I hope, some of the reasons that's why we bring into the aspect of the foreign, because in East Africa, we are seeing how the international scene is affecting the East African continent. Some of the things that are being done right there, some of the new products that come from that side coming into East Africa. But that we shouldn't be just spectators watching all this happen, but we should be learning something. I would be glad if I see a famous, probably Ghanaian celebrity, Kenyan celebrity, Tanzanian celebrity, and it's launching a certain brand of any attire, any apparel, and it's really rocking the entire East African region, let me say that. So that would be very, very, very encouraging and inspiring. So I would really largely call upon everybody that is into this sector to really match up the game, play that game top notch, and of course you will be surprised by the results that you will get. Now, of course, in a statement that Rihanna made, she said that it's a memory, of course, encapsulated into a fragrance. You never forget it. Can you imagine a memory right there? And a true embodiment of Rihanna, the bottle was designed to fit perfectly in her hand and represents a harmonious balance. That's all femininity, and okay, this may not be really something we should really look into, some deep femininity and all that aspect. But of course, the very important, the icebreaker here is that the perfume will be retailing at Kenyan shillings, and that's 22,000, and that's equivalent to $186. So a Kenyan right there, they will be in position to actually get that. And this is the second time Rihanna's products have launched into the Kenyan market, of course, via the beauty, via Linton's Beauty. And of course, we look at, we see that in May 2022, Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin products officially came into the country. Right now, so you can see really what is really transparent. But like I told you, it's going to be there for a very limited time. That's starting tomorrow till about the 27th of December. That will be 2 days after Christmas, and of course it will be winding up in that perspective. But I hope it's quite a great lesson to learn and pick something regarding how best you can create your brand and be creative within it. You don't just because what really interested me is that somebody's just imagine your favorite artist, your favorite movie actor. It tells you that this thing represents my lifestyle. Probably you've been watching my on screen, the places I've traveled. You will be captivated. I mean, you will feel a sudden inspiration, of course, to come up and get this item, so you can get to understand how the entertainment world is linked to the business side of it. All right, now away from that, we head to the Oscars, and we are looking at the revenues increasing, of course, the projections increasing. And now here, when I see the Oscars revenues increasing, we are looking at the aspect of ABC, one of the channels that broadcast these Oscars, advertising revenues actually increased. Very interesting at such a time, during the time they were really airing. Now, if I look through a report here, the Academy Museum, okay, now looking at the Oscars revenue, despite them rising, we still see investment losses hitting the Film Academy bottom line. Oscars, actually the committee that is responsible for them, can I say the Academy, that is responsible for the Oscars, happened to invest into a museum. Yes, happened to invest into a museum, though the expenses were really much, which were incurred into that, but they haven't yet recovered back the profitability, despite the fact that one of their biggest product is really making quite some good money. Now, this year's Academy Awards are broadcast on ABC, so its TV ratings considerably. That's from 2021. And financial statements from the Academy of Motion Picture, that's Arts and Science, show that revenue from the event also rose a year over. It rose as compared to last year. Revenue from the Academy Awards and related activities was 137.1 million US dollars in the fiscal year 2022, of course, which ended June 30th, and nearly 20 million. That's from 2021. Now, when it had revenue of that's 117.7 million, that's a year before. The Academy's deal with ABC and Buena Vista, and of course, which handles international sales, is built around fixed license fees as well as sales or usage, and of course, based on royalties, which would benefit from improved ratings and advertising sales. And of course, this is a possible source of the jump in revenue regarding that. So you get to understand. And, somebody was, because we remember the Oscars this year were quite remarkable because of what happened. We saw the whole incidents, and there was a thought that probably that was a staged plan or something of sort. But of course, we get realized after some very good time that actually it was so real regarding that, and that could have been a very captivating moment for the Oscars that it got quite lots of attention. And the funny thing, you may find that before that event happened, probably nobody had the attention of the Oscars, but not until after it happened, and in the next few minutes, everybody really wanted to pick the interest. Remember, they are live on ABC and people are watching, and whatever drama that is being watched there, somebody communicates to somebody. It's like, hey, this just happened at the Oscars, tune into ABC. So you get to understand how, and now definitely as the viewers were increasing regarding that and advertising at the end of the day. 2021 was an all-time low in the ratings of the Oscars. That was last year, which also saw the event leave the Dolby Theatre for a stripped-down show at Union Station, that's in Los Angeles. And according to the financial statements, the Academy also amended its agreement, that's with Dolby Theatre last fiscal year, to end the current contract after the 2028 Oscars. Now, this is the theatre where they showcase the awards, where they take. So they had an agreement with the Oscars regarding, and it was to last till 2028. And now, looking at the financial statements which were filed with Municipal Securities, that's the rulemaking board, on Tuesday, also revealed financial information for the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, which opened its doors, that's to the public, a little more than a year ago. Now, this is 1 year ever since the Oscars, the Academy really came up to put up a museum. So the expenses are quite low, and they have not yet recovered that profit back. So yes, it's very interesting. There is good news that the revenues are increasing, but the investments of the Academy are not really coming up very well. According to the statement, the Academy Museum brought that is 2022, so far in 2022, it has brought in a revenue of 23, that's $6 million US dollars, that's in 2022. And of course, that number does not include fundraising or donations revenue, independent of that. So you get to see how really serious this is. But however, the launch of the museum also caused expenses to skyrocket, with the organization recording expenditure of 93.5 million US dollars. Now, just the launch of the museum costed 92.5. That was a year ago. But since a year ago, the profit that so far that they have earned from that museum is just 23.5 million US dollars. So you get to understand that it's quite now. Imagine that's quite a deficit of about, if I'm to subtract that, I'll be having quite a big margin. That's quite a lot of money. 95 versus 23. You get to 93 rather versus 20. You get to understand that there is quite a big gap here. And of course, those expenses included some construction costs. The 95 million, like the expenditure included construction costs. We also see that that's for the museum, suggesting that expenses may decline in the coming years. That's according to what the Academy board was really suggesting in the coming years. But definitely, it's not really probably a big surprise, because that is always expected if you're really investing into a mega $1 million project, and it might really take some good time to recover back that money. It's not as easy, but anyway, we just hope it really comes up like the way they really anticipate. The Academy Museum also recorded a 12.2 million loss related to an exhibit, all exhibits that it had launched, that it had developed, but decided, of course, it would not be utilized within the museum. So there are quite other expenses they incurred, those other extra items they had to put into the museum. So you get to understand that is quite a heavy loss right there. Now, in terms of top line revenue, the Academy reported revenues and gifts of more than 287 million million and an increase in net assets of more than 69 million US dollars. And of course, while the revenue was up substantially from 2021, that's 210 million US dollars, its increase in that's in net assets fell from 89 million US dollars. So you get to understand how really this is coming up. Very interesting about gifts. In most cases, during the launch, there's some well-wishers that come in giving all the money, but still, when you get to understand that that money has quite a heavy budget ahead of it, so that makes it, of course, spending it quite very, very much more easy. And now we wind up with the business and entertainment as we are looking up to see recession fears halt Hollywood streaming ambitions. 2008, the global meltdown was quite a great shocker. And of course, there has been quite lots of anticipations regarding probably the next 2 years we might go into a recession. But these particular predictions are also threatening that's the entertainment industry, in particular the movie industry, because come this year, we were planning, the industry was planning to really focus on streaming, because the traditional ways of doing the movies don't seem to be working out quite very well. Now, if I review a report here, which says that across every major studio, economic emergency brakes have been pulled, of course, with hiring freezes, enhanced scrutiny on travel and entertainment expenses, and yes, also layoffs. In the legacy media, where studios have been, of course, been betting on streaming to make it up for declining cable revenues, it has also provided a gut check. Profits are still years off for many. The economic swingheads are accelerating cost-cutting measures that may have been already in motion as executives on Wall Street get more pragmatic about the streaming. So you get to understand. Now, recently, we saw that some of these entertainment companies actually laying off some of the workers. 2 days back, there was an interview with a CEO of Paramount Pictures, and I was really seeing some of the questions, one of the very crucial questions they were asking him regarding the aspect of ads, including ads into the streaming platforms. And there was this idea that if you pay less subscription, definitely ads will be unavoidable. If you pay more subscription, definitely you will view content without ads coming in through. And I guess that was a very interesting business concept regarding that, because I remember this gentleman that was interviewing him told me, I was asking him, okay, lately there is quite lots of money spent on content. Actually recently Paramount Pictures has just released the Transformers trailer. It's going to be out I think next year, and of course when you review this you get to understand and see that this is a very heavy budget movie. Now the question this gentleman was asking him is that how are you really catching up to see that you're spending all these millions of money on to creation content, but then have you thought of strategies of how you're going to get back that money? That was a very interesting question, and quite lots of insights regarding that, and I'll be giving you updates regarding what's coming out there in that particular aspect. And you made a statement that was so very interesting on how they are really strategizing to ensure that they dominate, that streaming dominates the theoretical window of 90 days. And that was one of the examples he gave about subscription, varying subscriptions. Many people really don't like ads, and now they are really thinking of, okay, if you're subscribing for $19 a month and you don't want ads, probably 19 might be less. You will have to see ads. So if you don't want to see ads, probably put this subscribe for $30, $25 for the entire month, and you will view content without ads. And very, very interesting business concept right there, trying to see how they can replace the theoretical window. Now, still in a report recently, I think a week ago, AMC Networks laid off quite so many workers, and as they are trying to look into the streaming, and when you compare, now the challenge is that we have few streaming giants into the streaming game, and that is Disney and Netflix. Now, some of these other companies that are trying to join the game, you realize that if you were to check through their streaming numbers, their subscribers, they don't go above 30 million subscribers. Now, the streaming giants Netflix, Disney, who have about 230 plus subscribers, are being monopolies regarding this. So now that is posing quite a great advantage. So now that what's taking place in Hollywood is that they're trying to find a way of reducing the monopolization regarding this, and that is becoming so hard because there should be a balance, a fair, because we've seen why monopolies are dangerous in today's movie. When the layoffs were taking place, when the big companies took the lead of laying off the workers, the smaller companies also adapted that. And probably, it may not have been really the case that they had to really lay off these workers. Because if you have to look at their expense budgets, now like Paramount Pictures, they spend about $1 billion on content, in the space of 6 months. I don't think AMC networks can really do that. I don't really think so. So now that's the disadvantage coming in there. That the recession that is coming in is threatening the streaming, of course, the streaming plans of Hollywood, and at the same time, before the recession itself, like being a problem to streaming, there is that aspect of monopolization of the streaming industry, a war going in taking place. So we really don't know where this might end regarding this. But above all, the bigger picture, I believe, in most cases when there is a division, there is always something that comes and unites the different parties that are divided. So probably the recession will bring back all these movie players together on the table to try to find ways that they can have an even distribution when it comes to streaming, because the competition is really, really tight. Now AMC wasn't performing well, like regarding the traditional programming, the cable network channel. So they were trying to look after streaming. But then when they looked into streaming, they said, but the reality is we can't outcompete these giants that are out there. So by all means, we have to lay off some people. So you get to see that is quite a very, that's what is happening right there in Hollywood regarding the streaming wars. But we hope something will be put together to ensure that the loss is a little bit controlled. That's it for the business in entertainment this morning, and back to you, Joram.
All right, and that's it from the world of entertainment business this morning, after which at 9:30 a.m. Meridian we'll be back as we digest matters to do with the weekly roundup for Smart Means Business, as it has been occurring from the world of business. But besides that, after the break, I will be returning with the SMB Insight. Stick around.
Smart 24,